If you've ever seen horror movies such as The Conjuring, The Exorcist, or the Amityville Horror, then you know demonic possessions are among the most terrifying things that could ever happen. Immediately next on the list would be the process of removing said demonic affliction, an exorcism. Contorting bodies, horrific voice changes, and speaking several languages are just a few of the key manifestations witnessed during an exorcism. But how close are those Hollywood effects to reality? Or are they mental health issues? One man, who deems himself a man based in science, Dr. Richard Gallagher, says people would be surprised just how much the movie-style possessions actually happen. Dr. Gallagher began his career as a typical psychiatrist. He never planned on getting involved with exorcists and demons, but life has a funny way of taking us to unexpected places. Today, Gallagher serves as a consultant of sorts for priests who are dealing with potential demonic possessions. When a priest is presented with someone believing they are in need of an exorcism, the priest calls up Dr. Gallagher to do a psychiatric evaluation. Once the evaluation is complete, Gallagher will establish whether the patient is suffering from some sort of mental health disorder, or if they may be actual victims of demonic possession. But why would a logical man, rooted so deeply in scientific facts, believe in something so otherworldly as possession? According to Gallagher, it's simple. Thanks to his involvement in consultations, he has also been present for many exorcisms over the years and has witnessed the unexplainable firsthand. Victims suddenly speaking perfect Latin, sacred objects flying off shelves, people displaying hidden knowledge or secrets about people they could not have possibly known. There was one woman who was like 90 pounds soaking wet. She threw a Lutheran deacon who was about 200 pounds across the room, he says. That's not psychiatry. That's beyond psychiatry. The Vatican claims they don't actually monitor the number of exorcism cases globally or even within the bounds of their own country. This may be the reason they are blissfully unaware of a more sinister problem. The number of cases is rising. The demand for capable exorcists has more than doubled in the past few decades. Whereas there used to be only 12 exorcists in the United States, there are now at least 50. Strange, though, that the Vatican says they don't monitor the amount of cases of exorcisms, yet they've responded by offering greater resources to help combat the problem, even going so far as to establish new boards and organizations for clergy to get involved. Dr. Gallagher's first encounter with the world of demonology was with a queen of Satan whom he calls Julia to protect her identity. Julia was a high priestess in a satanic cult. She'd approached her local priest regarding her fear she was being attacked by a demonic entity. The priest referred her to an exorcist who, in turn, called Gallagher for an evaluation. After determining she was not suffering from any mental ailments, Gallagher helped put together a team of priests and exorcists. Objects would fly off shelves around her. Julia's voice would change, and she somehow knew personal details about Gallagher himself. Even outside of sessions, Julia found ways to reach him. One night, he was talking on the phone with Julia's priest, when both men heard one of the demonic voices that came from Julia during her trances, even though she was nowhere near a phone and thousands of miles away. After seeing countless cases such as Julia's, he had to believe. However, Dr. Gallagher says most of the people he evaluates in his role suffer from the more prosaic problems of a medical disorder. Anyone even faintly familiar with mental illnesses knows that individuals who think they are being attacked by malignant spirits are generally experiencing nothing of the sort. People suffering from something such as dissociative identity disorder could easily mistake themselves for being possessed. For reasons such as this, he says he often spends more time convincing a patient that they are not possessed than convincing someone that they are. Possessions of any sort are rare, but they are real. Gallagher is also a man of solid faith. Growing up Catholic, Gallagher never thought much of possessions in his younger years. Some may think trying to operate within the bounds of both scientific medicine and spiritual faith is contradictory, but others in the Catholic Church may disagree. Contemporary Catholicism doesn't see faith and science as being at odds with each other. Its leaders insist that possession, miracles, and angels exist. But global warming and evolution are also real. Miracles must be documented with scientific rigor. In fact, many religions have some form of spirit possession incorporated into their beliefs. Many mental health professionals also agree that a patient's spiritual well-being should be factored into their treatment. However, some professionals are still cautious about validating such claims, maintaining that feeding into a patient's delusion that they are possessed could do more harm than good. Many cite the case of Anneliese Michel as an example. Michel was a German Catholic woman who died of starvation in 1976 after 67 exorcisms over a period of 9 months. Despite being diagnosed with epilepsy, Michel believed she was possessed, and so did her parents. She reportedly displayed some of the classic signs of possession: abnormal strength, aversion to sacred objects, speaking different languages. Authorities later determined that it was Michel's parents and 2 priests who were responsible for her death. German authorities put them on trial for murder, and they were found guilty of negligent homicide. Mistreatment of victims like this is common, especially in developing countries. Clergy wishing to get involved and become recognized exorcists need proper training and education on how to properly identify possessions and how to handle them. However the rest of the world may feel, Dr. Gallagher holds strong in his faith and responsibilities. He continues to do his work, even serving on the governing board of the Rome-based International Association of Exorcists. Whether or not possession is real is something only God may ever know. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.